Oh, this isn't even how you say that. G'day, everyone. So tired. G'day, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. If you're new, leave now, please. You have to go, because this is not a video that I would love to see you for the first time. I mean, it's real, so you can have that, but what a crazy time of my life I'm having right now. I cannot tell you what I want to tell you regarding the MasterCard / Lady Gaga competition that I entered and won because I signed an NDA. So I can't legally disclose anything. And you know, I half know how a non-disclosure agreement works. I feel like what I can tell you was it was insane. The whole thing was insane. If I'm ever allowed to share with you the details of how all that happened, there's stuff that I would never share online anyway. These are stories for friends and family. But I hope I can share with you at some point what it was all like. You might have seen the Club Mayhem experience, because that was something that was allowed to be public and publicized. So you would have seen Lady Gaga did turn up there and stayed out on the dance floor for a song and did a bit of a dance. And yeah, it was crazy. It was a really insane party that we were at. I posted some pictures on my Instagram. The whole thing was insane. The whole thing was insane. It also kind of was right in the middle of the week when I was doing rehearsals for another show over at Knott's Berry Farm. I've picked back up stuff with Disneyland as well for the parade. And so kind of everything is happening. We also closed a show at Knott's Berry Farm last Sunday. I feel like in the past 10 days, I've had 6 different lifetimes. It feels so surreal. My body is going through it. It's not injured, thank goodness, touch wood, but I felt so sore at one point today. I felt like I was going to throw up. Like, it just feels like everything needs to be rejuvenated somehow. My back, my shoulders, my knees, my calves, my Achilles, my feet, my toe, like everything needs attention and addressing. So I'm a dancer. I'm a dancer again. Who knew? You know, when it rains it pours, and I feel very grateful for all of that. I feel like the experiences I've had have just been so good for me to mentally, you know, put together all the pieces of information I needed to put together recently. So I'm in a really, really good place mentally. Physically, I'm falling apart. I'll keep going. Yeah, everything else, I'm just in a busy time right now, and that's how it's going to be. So I wasn't around for Friday. This is Friday's video, even though you're probably going to see it Tuesday. So thank you so much for your patience with that. I also have another incredibly busy week coming up this week. So for Friday's video, that might happen on Friday. It might be another late one. I'm not quite sure. It's been so hard to manage everything, and that is my problem, not yours. But I do thank you for your patience as I kind of navigate this particular time. For over the past couple of years since I've started dancing again, there have been specific times where I've been unbelievably busy, and then there are other times where it's just a lot more manageable. And so if you've been familiar with those times, I'm currently in one. So we should just name them something. I'm in the crazy times right now, and you know, they do pass, and I do get into a bit more of a schedule and a routine, and everything chills out a little bit. So I look forward to that and being able to, you know, get back to my other commitments. It's not just dance, right? Like I work at Knott's Berry Farm, I work at Disneyland, like these are dance things that I go and do. I also had this competition thing that kind of was its own extra bit of commitment from my time. The photography that Steve does, I assist almost every shoot that he goes on. So that also takes up a lot of time, and I do help him with some of the post-processing stuff. Not a ton, but still kind of, I'm wrapped up in that as well. And then I have now started teaching dance again, so now I'm kind of wrapped up in this as well, and that is all on top of what you remember that I do here at jlbCREATIVE. So this is kind of hopefully maybe giving a bit of context as to why things have shifted and changed over the years, and why I ditched the Daisy style workshop when it wasn't working a couple weeks ago. It just doesn't fit into my schedule right now, and I need to move on to the next thing that I actually, do have to do. And have to is a weird way to put it. I am really excited to do it. I want to do it. But there are certain things I have to do throughout the year for this business to make sure that everything runs smoothly and that I don't just forget that it exists. And virtual voyages is one of those things. I can't even remember the last time we did one. It was last summer, right? It was 9, me, myself, and I. Yeah, we did it around just before my birthday last year. So we are due for another workshop. It was supposed to be Daisy style. It's not going to be that for right now. So I'm going to put Virtual Voyage on, and I'm super excited. I'll give you a little hint. It's Virtual Voyage 10, and I've called it Decade. You can let your imagination run wild with that. I'm not going to give you any more hints until things are a little bit more solidified. The first thing I really need to nail down before I start talking a lot about it is the date, like the time frame that it's going to be, because that is important. Once I've committed to that, everything else kind of rolls out afterwards. So once Steve and I can lock down certain dates and times for the live parties, then I can kind of commit to all of that. But it will most likely be when I'm back in the swing of things, and I have a regular kind of schedule. So more like May, maybe a little bit before that. I'm not quite sure. I'll let you know, obviously, but that is really exciting. And the prep work for that, the research work for that has been so much fun and so crazy. And it'll all make sense why later. But that's going to be that. I wish I could share with you everything that happened last week. Like I said, it was an NDA, so I can't. But it was insane. I'm currently back in rehearsals for Preserve. This is where I've just come from. This is why I look like I'm exhausted, because I have been exercising all day. Finishing my coffee from earlier. It's just cold black coffee, but I need to wake up, because after I'm finished this voiceover, I'm going to be at my desk finally having a sit down and playing with some of my art journaling stuff. I haven't even seen a journal in about a week, so I'm excited to really sit down and put my YouTube on, put my Gore World on, enjoy just zoning out and doing some art journaling and putting it on this video for you. But it has just been so chock-a-block. I feel like I've lived 2-3 different lifetimes in the past 10 days. It's been so rewarding. It's been very validating as well. I was having I wouldn't even say a little crisis, but from time to time, I do get really existential, and I guess I was just in need of some external validation for something, for dance. Let's just say dance. It was dance, but I don't know why I'm trying to say something like I'm trying to hide it from you. I'm typically a very confident person. Like, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm typically very confident. I like to feel confident. I like to move forward with confidence. Even when I'm not, I can be a little bit delusionally confident too. But this is why when I started singing in shows, it really threw me for a loop for a second, because I'm like, I don't do that well. That's not something I feel super confident at. I need training. I need to practice. I need to become more familiar, and I usually don't want to put myself on a learning curve that's going to make me feel less confident than I want to feel. So it feels too vulnerable for me sometimes to do things that I might not be good at, or I'm just not going to put a good foot forward, and I can't feel the way I want to feel when I go through the day. But dance is usually not something I ever kind of second guess. But over the past few years since I've been back at dancing, I've shared a lot of this story with you before, but a lot of the experiences that I've had and the trajectory that I've had has really put into question, am I doing the right thing? Am I being the right thing? Am I looking the right way? Am I putting the best foot forward? Like, what's going on? What do I need to do to make this happen for myself? And it's been very, very confusing. And I think, it started to put a bit of a doubt in my mind. And I think a lot of that had to do with my age as well. I never considered that I'd be dancing at, how old am I now? 34. It's not that old, but for a dancer, you're starting to think about how much longer you have and how much longer you're going to be able to do all the crazy things we put our bodies through. Obviously, my body feels insane right now. So I'm thinking like, this is not a schedule that I think is super sustainable for me. But, there was a little bit of doubt in there. And I think it was starting to eat away at some of my confidence. Still very confident, obviously, not too much to worry about there. But yeah, no, let's just say we're back to full 100% peak self-confidence. I think I just needed some external validation. I really do believe that, as an adult, I'm very conscious of, the choices that I make so that I can feel reassured about, my sense of self and that the way I move through the world, I want to make sure that I'm happy with me and the way that I'm doing things. And it's not all perfect. Obviously, we're not all perfect, but I become really hyper aware of those choices. It might sound a little heady, but I don't even want to go there. Like, we don't need to have a therapy session, but it was it's never I always get nervous about seeking external validation because it's just so iffy, and I usually think I do a good job of just validating myself, and I didn't even think I needed any external validation, but I'm learning to become a little bit okay with that, and that sometimes it is okay to to find it elsewhere, just maybe for when you need it. Maybe there are just some things you can't reassure yourself of and someone else does need to come in there. I don't know, I just like I it makes me feel less independent, that I might need someone else to bolster me that way, but it's okay. I don't need to be independent of everyone and everything. So I'm having a bit of a learning curve, I think, which is nice. I might change my mind and never care about that ever again, but it really did make me feel a lot better. I think the experience that I had really, it just changed my perspective on some stuff, and it released me from a lot of all the thoughts that I felt a little bit bound by when I was feeling a little bit insecure. And honestly, I hate it. Which is so funny because I'll talk to my friends and they'll be like, you're feeling the tiniest bit of insecurity and you're acting like your whole world is falling apart. But I don't think people realize, like, I have just always felt very confident. And that is just something that has kept me, I don't know, I just feel like it's just so much easier to move through the world when I feel like that. So if it starts to feel threatened, yes, my whole world does feel like it's gonna fall apart. I need to deal with it immediately. Cannot feel any type of insecurity. So I don't know, maybe I'm just being crazy, but also, I have to blame my family. My family were always very supportive of, oh, he likes Barbie dolls and he loves to paint and draw and he loves to do all of this. Like, they were always very encouraging. I always felt very confident to just be myself, and not in every single way, but that's a different story. There was a lot of reassurance I got growing up that I think instilled a lot of confidence in me. So I just don't think I've known another way. I've thankfully in my uh, in my view, I've been fortunate enough to not deal with a ton of insecurity and have that shape my path. Also, I've gone completely the other wrong way and gone too confident and shaped a weirder path for myself that way. But you learn, you live and you learn in your early 20s. I made some terrible mistakes, but yeah, that being said, it was a great experience for that, because I felt like, you get to do all these fun things and you get to have this great experience, but to know that something internally changed a little bit, something, some like a ribbon got tied on something, a little puzzle piece got fitted in there, and you're just like, oh, great, great. Now I feel like I move forward to the next step. And that was a really great feeling. So very, very grateful for that. Sorry, I can't be very specific about how all that happened, but yeah, everything else is great. Super busy. I won't be soon. Well, not like I won't be. I'll just be in a routine soon. I don't care about being busy. I hope this never sounds like, oh, I'm so busy, I can't believe it. I love being busy with all the things I love to do. Like, it's actually a blessing to me that I have all these things that I love to do that pack my schedule. It just is a little frustrating because sometimes I want to just stop everything and do one thing, and I can't because I've promised the time over here. So I do love being busy with all this stuff. And honestly, if there were just more hours in the day, I'm always saying this, but that would actually be the better solution for me, because I don't want to not do any of it. I want to do my Disneyland. I want to do my Knott's Berry Farm. I want to go and have my experiences. I want to go and help Steve with his photo shoots. I want to go do my art journaling and my virtual voyages. I want to do all of it. But how do you pack all of that into one day? It's almost impossible. So you pack it in where you can, and I will hopefully see you again at the end of this week on Friday for another video. Thank you so much for being patient while this one came out to you. I'm well, I'm happy. I need to go on ice and icy hot everything. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.